I hope you're having a great day. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing a project that I worked on over the past weekend where I updated an old grungy table to turn it into a fun farmhouse style look for a coffee table for our living room. In fact, the table matches our sofa table that we've had in here for years, and so I'm going to update it as well. And when I say it's been out in our garage is used more like a barn. It has hay, feed, and all of that for the animals, so it is a grungy space. And this table was dirty. In fact, it was missing the bottom shelf, so I had to replace that as well. I have no idea where it went, but that's what I'm going to be sharing in this video, and wait till you see them in the end. Let's get started. So here is the table that I'm going to be redoing, and it's missing the bottom shelf like I mentioned. I looked for it, can't find it, so I am going to replace that with a piece of scrap wood that I found in my wood pile, and so I'm going to work on that first. So the piece of scrap wood that I found had been used on something before and had drill holes in both ends. So I was just making sure the piece of wood was long enough if I cut off both ends that it would fit as a shelf and work without having any holes in it. And so it did, so I'm going to start by cutting off both ends and getting this piece of wood to the size that I need. The next thing I did was attach the shelf to the bottom of the table, and I just chose to use some screws. I wasn't too concerned about the screw heads being visible, so that's what I went with. After I had the shelf attached, it was time to sand down the wood so that I could get the table ready for paint. So I had the table all prepped, ready for paint, and I put it on a drop cloth. The drop cloth kept moving around because the wind was so strong, so I had to weigh it down. I just grabbed some different things like planters from around the yard to hold each corner down, and then proceeded to paint. And I chose to paint the table a bright white, and then I'm going to just dress it with some sandpaper, and I'm going to stain the top of it a dark color. while the paint's drying, I chose to go ahead and work on the top. So I just used a darker color stain and brushed it on, and then I'll use an older rag to wipe off all of the excess. After I had a coat of stain on the table, I just didn't really like how it took to the wood and didn't particularly like the color. So I just went back over it with some black acrylic paint and let some of the wood color show through, and I really liked this look a lot better. The next thing I did was take some sandpaper and sand the bottom part of the table. I wanted to distress it and let some of the wood show through and just give it that rustic kind of farmhouse look. And the last thing that I did was seal the top of the table with some polyacrylic in a matte finish. So I am absolutely loving how this table turned out, and here's another look at the before and the after. And like I mentioned before, we have the matching sofa table in the house already, and so I wanted to redo that as well. And so here is the before and here is the after. And we have this large picture that goes above the table in the living room. I had taken it down and tried to come up with something else to hang on the wall, but it really needs something large in this space. And it's a picture of a cowboy and his horse in the rain. We just love this picture. My husband is a cowboy. I've mentioned that before. We have horses, cattle, all of that. I just didn't like the wood frame with the table, the different colors. So I decided to use some black acrylic paint and just darken it up, and I'm liking it a lot better now. So I'm really happy with how the tables turned out. I'm enjoying that bright white pop of color on the furniture with that distressed look, and I'm having a lot of fun decorating them. In fact, I'm thinking about redoing the TV stand as well, so that might be a future project. But if you're new to my channel, I share a lot of budget-friendly DIY home and lifestyle content. If you like that sort of thing, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.